Today we're talking about all of the Sapphire cards in Rise of the Floodborn, and we're starting off by talking about this Alice. And why do we want to do that? We want to know the cards. We want to think about spicy decks that we can play, and we want to know what the cards do. We want to remember it so we're not caught off guard when our opponent puts down an Alice and we say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. This is Alice, the growing girl, and she's in a house, and this is part of the anime where she goes into the White Rabbit's house, I believe, and then she blows up his house. Just terrible news for that rabbit. Just the house absolutely decimated by this girl just not minding her business. And if you look down at her regular art, it looks like she's in the house here. Those are the same type of white and red things. It looks like she's in the house. It looks like she's growing. Oh my gosh, the card's called Growing Girl. This is when she's growing, and then this is when she's all like, big old grown. Oh, is that the door? Does her hand go through the door? Or, I don't know what's going on here. What's that up there? I have to zoom in. It's a bird. My eyes don't work too far from back here, but up close I see that is a bird. It says that your other characters gain support. And that's good because you need support for Alice to work, because she says while this character has 10 strength or more, she gets 4 lore. So she can quest for 5. If she has 10 strength. How are you going to do it? You're going to cascade down the lore. You're going to start with a character. They're going to give their support to another character by questing. They're going to give their like total strength to another thing, and then they give all that support and their strength to finally Alice. And then hopefully she'll have 10, and then she can quest for 5 lore. Or you use her to take out somebody that doesn't want to be taken out. You use her to one-shot a Cinderella, but she's also going to go one-shot because Cinderella will 5 damage back to her. It's a weird card for sure. The foil version's $10. And her enchanted version's $140. That's Alice in a nutshell. You want to give everybody support. You already have everybody to have support when you play Alice. And then you cascade your support down to finally give her 10 and then quest for the 5 big ones. You could even use Lucky Dime on her at the end if she has the 10 strength, and then gain another 5 lore that way. This is Basil, and he's an interesting one because I think he has a lot of value. But he doesn't get a lot of play. Yeah, I think he's a valuable card. I do. I think that you could make a good deck around him. Maybe not a ramping deck necessarily, which Blue likes to do a lot. But I think this has a good shell. This Basil card is not bad. I think there's lots of value here because if you use Shift to play him, you can draw 2 cards when he enters play. So it replaces the 2 cards that you use to play Basil, because you have to have 1 card down and then you have to play Basil, so it replaces those 2 cards. So maybe it's not the best when you think of it as a replacement effect, like it replaces the cards, but it can quest for 3, and that's a good deal. And it dies to Medusa, and it dies to Zeus, so never mind. Forget everything I said about Basil. Don't even look at this card. It is a Floodborn, though, and it does have the detective thing. Don't think about Tim. He's not the best. Support has the Dreamborn Hero Detective. This is the Basil that you can shift onto the other Basil. But we also got another Basil that does 2. That's a 2-1. No, it's a 1-drop 2-1. That has support also. Are you telling me that Basil's a hero that gives everybody support? They've made so many Basil cards that have support. This is an interesting thing that we are now realizing. When an ingenious device, if its light is reflected through these, then its images must resolve somewhere below. Bro, what? What are they talking about? Why would they write that lore, and what does that mean? What ingenious device? What are they talking about? What is this about, dude? I don't get this card. It's a 2-2. Stat line, the quest for 1. It's basically a flounder, but it costs 1 more and it gets support. Is it good? Probably not. This is the other Basil. This one costs 4. That's a whole lot of ink for a rat. And Basil gets pranked real hard in set 6. No, in set 5, he gets taken over by Jafar with the hypnotic deduction with the staff, and it takes over Basil. It's bad news for Basil. Quest for 2 though, so not that bad. The Caterpillar is a great card. The Caterpillar is a 1-3 stat line, but it can quest for 3. Sapphire's got these unique stat lines that blow other lore questers out of the water. Check out this 3 lore. It says, keep your tempo. Had no idea what the Caterpillar was from until I watched Alice in Wonderland. This is from Alice in Wonderland. He's got his own whole scene. playing the saxophone. I don't know if he plays the saxophone in Alice in Wonderland. I think that's a little liberty that they took here. The calm and collected. Look at that caterpillar. 3 cost, pretty good. I played him in a Mufasa deck. I've seen people play him in an aggro list, yellow, blue aggro, which was pretty good because people don't expect it, and it can survive a couple of spells. This is Cogsworth, the grandfather clock, and he is one of the best Floodborn Sapphire cards there is or ever will be. You can shift him on 3, but nobody's really shifting on 3. Everybody is waiting to play Cogsworth on 5. It gives all of your characters +1 resist, which is crazy. And then if you have 2 Cogsworth in play, boom, that's +2 resist. And if you have 3 Cogsworth in play, that's impossible. You can't have 3 Cogsworth in play. What is this? Cogsworth City. It's got Ward, which is incredible. People can't choose this character. They can't choose it except to challenge. So if you don't exert this thing, it's good to go, except for whole board clears. Like stuff like Be Prepared wipes the whole board, and like Tinkerbell can do a damage to it if it comes onto the battlefield and this is chilling without another Cogsworth in play. But if there's another Cogsworth in play, Tinkerbell does no damage because the resist 1 goes to this 2. So good. So many wombo combos. The deck for Blue Steel is commonly called Cogsworth and Friends because of this guy. This is the Cogsworth that they're talking about. Cogsworth has got a lot of support lately. There's a yellow Cogsworth. There is a purple Cogsworth in Shimmering Skies. Lots of Cogsworth supports. And is it worth it? Yes. Cogsworth is a great card. He'll never not be good, right? Like, this is a 5-cost character that deserves to be a 5-cost character because he does great things and he can close out games later when you should shift for 2. Like, you can play down your Lucky Dime and then you can get 4 lore with him eventually. Like, because Lucky Dime can target him. He's not like a dead draw when you get him either. He's a good card to set up in your Blue Steel decks. In Ruby Sapphire, I don't think I've ever seen him play. He's really just there for the Ruby Steel, or the Sapphire Steel, sorry. Blue Silver. Cogsworth, great card. We like Cogsworth. Now on to this Cogsworth. No one plays this Cogsworth. He has your characters with Reckless gain Exert, gain 1 lore, which is crazy because characters with Reckless can't quest. So you're not questing them, you're exerting them and then gaining 1 lore. They're gaining this ability. It's not even an ability. It's not even a named ability. They just gain, exert, gain 1 lore. It's weird. It's a cool tech, and you could do it when you play this down if you already have a Reckless character in play. Like if you have Maui in play, you play this down, then your Maui can exert for 1 lore. Kind of cool. And it's not called questing. It's called gaining a lore when you're not questing. Like the same way with Sorcerer's Spellbook, you don't quest the book. You exert the item and gain a lore that way. This is Cruella de Vil, and Cruella de Vil is exactly here to counter, who was it? Minnie Mouse. Was it also Pongo? I think it's also Pongo. This is made to damage Pongo. Also made to take out any of the Dalmatian puppies, because the Dalmatian puppies are 2/3 stat lines. The 2/3 on a Dalmatian puppy is so good. Instead of a 2/2, the 3 makes it survive so much more. Isn't it just gorgeous, darling? And just as stylish as I am, says Cruella de Vil, the fashionable cruiser, the 2/3/3/2. This can also take out enemy Diablos. It's a great tech. It was a great tech. Now there's other stuff to deal with Diablos, especially with the colors that you're pairing Ruby with, or Sapphire with, I guess, in this case. Fun card, definitely good tech. Thing to keep in mind if there's other, like, Diablo things, or if Diablo gets 3 strength, boom, this can take it out, even out of Cove. This is the other Cruella de Vil that we got. This one is in the starter deck, right? This has the Shift 3. You can play 3 ink to play this on top of one of your characters named Cruella de Vil. There's a green one, and there's a blue one. And then there's this one. Oh, no, you don't. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -2 strength this turn. Not as good as the Queen at all. This is the same stat lines as the Queen and just a way worse ability. You know the one I'm talking about, the Shift on 2? This is almost the Queen, but not good. The other Queen is so much better. She'll never be a queen. She's just a villain. The Duke of Weaselton has Ward, which is incredible value, but he doesn't have a shift target to utilize the Ward. He is just there to survive and then get you 2 lore, which is all right sometimes. It's Weaselton. Incredible. Incredible card for incredible memes. I like it. I played it once, didn't play it after that. This is the Gaston that comes in the Rise of the Floodborn starter decks, not the one with Merlin, the one with the blue stuff. And this Gaston is great. I played him a lot back in set 3. I played this. With Inklands, I did a red-blue, and it worked out well because Gaston... No, I did this with Steel. I did Sapphire Steel for that, and I liked it because it lets you dig a little bit deeper and get the exact card you need for the exact situation that you're in. It's got the developed brain. There's an action card called Develop Your Brain. This one, boom, Develop Brain. What a gag. So funny when you play this character. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put one into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. You get to look at 3 cards. You get to keep one. It's a good card. And then it also quests for 3, which is huge. It has 4 strength, which means Medusa ain't going to get it unless it has the ice block. And then 4 willpower. This thing can challenge. This thing can quest. It has everything going on. And it's got this crazy plan of how he's going to take out Beast and get with Belle there. This is a little chalkboard drawing. It's good art. Everything about this card was good except for the cost. The Grand Pabby deck people will always try to make work, but it hasn't worked good so far. But maybe one day it will work good. It says whenever you remove 1 or more damage from one of your characters, gain 2 lore. If this was a 5-cost card, this would be amazing. But it's a 7-cost uninkable. So if it goes in your hand, it's dead for a long time. But with ramping items, I guess you could use it. Like you could Fishbone Quill this away early. But decks that play this usually play like 2 copies of Pabby because that's not their main win con. It's kind of a spicy win con. But if you make a whole deck out of Pabby, you have to run the whole 4 of them. And you want to heal stuff. There's lots of things that heal stuff. There's stuff that heals all the damage. Whenever you remove 1 or more damage from one of your characters, gain 2 lore. Whenever you remove 1 or more damage. Interesting. From one of your characters. At least it's not from all your characters. Like the heal card, the new one, the yellow one that says heal 1 from all of your characters. I think that would trigger per each character because it says whenever you remove a damage from one of your characters, and you would do remove the damage once at a time, and then your trigger would happen every time. Pabby can work. He can do stuff. He gives Elsa the powers. He has power twos. We just need the Floodborn Grand Pabby. This is Hiram Flaversham. And we just got a new Hiram Flaversham card that quests for 3. This one quests for 1. But this is the best card in all of Sapphire. You pair this with a Popsicle, and then you're good to go. If you have a Hiram and a Popsicle, you're good to go. If you draw a Hiram and have an item on board, you're good to go. You can come back from any situation. You just got to find your Hiram. His only flaw is that he has the 1 strength, so he dies to like baby Sisu and stuff. And he doesn't like hit back for a lot, and resist doesn't get him. But he's just too good. There was an error one time in the app where it said, oh, draw 1 card, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, he's getting nerfed. And secretly, I believe that that's a nerf that they plan to do. But they said that they don't plan to do that. But let's be honest, how did they specifically go to card 149 and set 2 and change 1 digit and not like a random letter? They changed the digit. I don't know. It's a little bit sus, if you ask me. Hiram Flaversham, the best Sapphire card paired with a Popsicle there is. This is James, and he has, when this character is banished, you may put this card in your inkwell face down and exert it. He can quest for 2, and he can also take out stuff. So, like, even if it's on your turn and you challenge with James and James is banished in a challenge, you can still ramp with the ink. But there's so many other better ramp options, so James didn't see the play. But he could be spicy. There's cool stuff to do here, especially if you ever want to play a deck that never runs inkable cards. That's an aspiration of mine, to play a deck that has no inkable cards. That would be so cool if there was only 1 card that could let you ramp on turn 1. We would be cooking. But if we don't get that, we can't play the all uninkable deck. We're almost there with Tipo and such. Like, it's getting there where we could play a whole deck of uninkables. And with cards like Hidden Inkcaster, anything's possible except for you need to ink something. Is Hidden Inkcaster inkable? This is Jasmine, the 1-drop, the Heir of Agrabah. When you play this character, you may remove up to 1 damage from chosen character of yours, so that would trigger the Grand Pabby. Is that what it's there for? We'll never know. This is Judy Hops, and she had a big buyout when the Hiram Heir happened. These things jumped up to like $1.50 for the foils, and now they're coming back down because there's other stuff in Azurite Sea that's going to do similar stuff where if you banish items, good stuff happens to you. Judy was here as a we have Hiram Flaversham at home kind of deal, but it also got rid of opponent's lucky dimes, which was a good deal. When you play this character, you may banish chosen item as player draws a card. So if you banish one of your opponent's items, they get to draw a card, which might not be the best thing for you, but sometimes it's the best thing for you. Judy Hops, pretty good card. Always good to know about. The 3 cost instead of the 4. So like if you have this instead of the Hiram, it's the we have Hiram at home. Mrs. Judson. And this is a play on Mrs. Hudson from Sherlock Holmes because Hiram Flaversham Basil is Sherlock Holmes. And this is the like housekeeper of Basil's house. Mrs. Hudson, Mrs. Judson. Zugabuga. Housekeeper, the 1/5 stat line. And, oh, wow, it's got the Floodborn abilities. It says whenever you play a Floodborn character, you may put the top card into your inkwell face down and exerted. It's a little bit too late to matter with this 4 cost, but Mrs. Judson, pretty spicy. I definitely want to play a deck with Mrs. Judson today. That's so cool. Yeah, you can Tipo, and then you can play her on turn 3. And then after that, you just ramp up. But they'll have answers to Mrs. Judson after that. Mrs. Judson. I like it. She's a good card. Not bad. Nick Wilde was supposed to pair with Popsicle, but he never did. The pair with Popsicle is Tamatoa and Hiram Flaversham. It's not Nick Wilde. The Wily Fox is a Storyborn ally. Didn't even get the hero keywords. Not even the hero of Zootopia. He's just an ally. It says when you play this character, you may return an item named Popsicle from your discard to your hand. Might be good to let you draw cards. Kind of just a theme. Just he's the one making the Popsicles. The Popsicle's the way better card. Nick Wilde's just here to foster that. Again, not the best card. Didn't see the best play because there's other stuff that does what he does better, including Tamatoa and Hiram Flaversham, the other fox. This is Noi. Noi is seeing a comeback right now this week because this Orphan Thief has, while you have an item in play, this character gains resist +1 and ward. So if you're playing Emerald Steel, you can't challenge this thing with your damaging spells. And if you attack her, she has resist 1, so she's basically a 3 health. Noi lives, and Noi can just chill out and get 2 lore every turn and just wait for you to have to challenge her. Like, you have to challenge her to get rid of her because she has ward. Pretty cool card. It works. If you're playing Ruby Sapphire, tech it in there for your decks against the Emerald Steels. Or don't. This is Owl. Owl who? Knock knock, who's there? Owl? Owl who? Somebody's been possessed by a ghost of an owl. Who is it? He's a regular vanilla card. The 1/2/2 stat line is as vanilla as it can get. It's got some flavor text here. It says, for instance, based on the quality of the light and the subtle change in wind direction, I can safely say it's time for tea. Thanks, Owl. Thanks for that. We love it. This is Prince Charming. Prince Charming is also a vanilla character, but he quests for a whole bunch. He quests for 3. He's got that 3/3 stat line, much like Gaston, but Gaston got the 4/4 stat line and quests for 3. And this little piece is a piece out of Cinderella's Sword that we'll talk about next Monday. We'll talk about Cinderella Stout-Hearted. She's in Rise of the Floodborn. This is Prince Charming. Cinderella Stout-Hearted is love interest, I guess. The Prince Charming, heir to the throne. There he is. He does Prince Charming things. Might be good in a blue Fossa deck, but maybe not. Rabbit is also a vanilla card that doesn't get hit by Medusa and doesn't get hit by Along Came Zeus. Maybe the best card in all of Lorcana right here, and it's a Rabbit. Boing. Winnie the Pooh cards are where it's at. This is one of the legendaries that is in the $2 club, and what I mean by that is this card is less than $2. Legendaries that are less than $2 usually aren't the best cards. This is a Divine Water Dragon. Yeah, play it down for 4 cost uninkable, which is a crazy term to waste on this dragon. It says whenever this character quests, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You may put 1 in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So it's like playing a develop your brain every time you quest this character, but it's super squishy. It's just going to be banished. So what's the point? No matter her shape, you can't mistake her heart. She has an enchanted rare card too. Wow, wow, wow. I tried to get that enchanted rare off of Eagle for $60 and he said no, and now it's $60 again. What? This is Knock, and the Knock is here for the greatest joke of all time. It starts off with knock, knock, and then so you like put 2 knocks in a row in your deck, and then you play this card. So you go knock, knock, who's there? It's too good. That's what the Knock is here for. It is the water spirit from Elsa's movie Frozen. And it's got Ward, but it's got no Floodborn Knock, which we would like to see. It's Storyborn. It's not even an ally. It's not even a hero. It's just the Knock. Knock, knock, who's there? Owl, who? Winnie the Pooh. Having a thing. Honeypot. Whenever this character quests, you may put a card from your hand in your inkwell face down. So, it can be any card, which is great. But it takes away your hand, which isn't the best. But it quests for 2, which is great. And it's Pooh, which is even better. An alright card. There's just other stuff to do on turn 3 that's more consistent ramp stuff, because if you're not going first, they can play down their Ursula on turn 3, and then they can double sing and take out your Pooh. Take out the only engine that you put out there for ramping. And that would not be the best deal. Falling down the rabbit hole, it says each character chooses one of their characters and puts them into their inkwell face down and exerted. It's a cheaper let it go, but it costs you one of your characters. But it ramps you. Not the best card, especially at 4. And it's not a song, so you can't sing it. Play Let It Go instead of Falling Down the Rabbit Hole. I've never seen anybody play Falling Down the Rabbit Hole, and I don't think I will. 4 dozen eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's a baker's dozen. Zugabooga. Your characters gain resist 2 until the start of your next turn. That's all characters that you have in play gain resist 2. Incredible value. Why doesn't this see more play? Because it's, I don't know. You're doing other stuff. This would save your Sapphire cards from a lot. This is kind of cool. I like this. This is spicy. This is not bad. $51. Now, this is an interesting card. This is Launch, and it's one of the Lorcana original cards. This is the Coconut from Coconut Basket, all the way from Chapter 1. 3 costs uninkable. It's an action, not an item. Did I say item? Ignore me. It says, banish chosen item of yours to deal 5 damage to chosen characters. So, in total, it's at least a 4 ink combo, because you do this with Popsicle. And then you get to do 5 damage to chosen character. They don't even have to be damaged already, because that's Green's deal. I've had this played against me, and I didn't like it because it was so surprising. So if you want to be so surprising, play Launch in your item decks, and they'll never see it coming. The Nothing to Hide action card says each opponent reveals their hand. Draw a card. So you get hand information, which is super valuable. If you know what your opponent's going to do, you don't have to walk right into it. Sometimes you do have to walk right into it, so they can't just keep building up an idea. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your Diablo and Morph, so they play the Strength Rage on, the Storm Rage on. Sometimes you got to do exactly what your opponent wants you to do. I don't know what to do about that. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Fang's crossbow was spicy. Might be spicy once again eventually because it says exert, banish this item, banish chosen dragon character. Some people play dragon characters and this can take it out. And then it also has another ability. It says exert 2 ink. Chosen character gets -2 strength this turn, which is okay for challenging. And then it's also there to do other stuff in case they play a dragon. You can banish it, but then you don't get to use this ability again. Pretty good. And you can only choose one of these a turn because if you exert it, you can't exert it again. Fang's crossbow, there to be spicy against the dragons when there's an all-dragon build. The gumbo pot, you exert it, remove 1 damage from each. Remove 1 damage each from up to 2 chosen characters. So you can remove damage from 2 chosen characters, and then Grandpappy would proc twice, and then you get 4 lore from Pappy because 2 characters got damage removed. It's an item that you can tap every time. This is one of the best healing items in all of Blue. You just keep tapping it, and you play it down for 2, and then it's just ready to go every turn. Boom, boom, boom. Heal, heal, heal. This is Maurice's Workshop, and it's underrated. If you don't know about this card, it makes the Ruby Sapphire item deck out of this world because it turns everything into a popsicle if you just pay the 1 kicker. Incredible. And if you have 2 Maurice's Workshops down, you pay 2 ink, you draw 2 cards. And if it's a popsicle that you're playing down, boom, let's draw 3 cards and you only paid 3 ink. It's such a good deal. Maurice's Workshop, underrated item. If you're not playing this in a Tamatoa deck, you're probably winning. But if you do want to play it, that's all right. But where's Maurice? Shouldn't he be here in his workshop? I don't know. On to the greatest Sapphire card of all time. I don't know how many times I've said that about these cards. Rise of the Floodborn had the greatest. Does this say $5 for this item in Hollow? It does. That's so cool. Popsicle, boom. You play it, you draw a card. It is the #1 turn in Ruby Sapphire and in Sapphire Steel. It's the #1 turn. It's so good. It's so consistent. Boom. You play it down, it replaces itself. You get to draw a card. Then you can either banish it to remove up to 2 damage, which is done a lot, or you can banish it with Hiram to draw 2 cards. You can also do things with Tamatoa where you can get this back from the graveyard, so you don't even have to heal anything. So you can just banish this item and then remove up to 2 damage. But you can just banish this item, put it in the graveyard, quest with Tamatoa, get it back with Tamatoa's ability, and then play down Popsicle to draw a card. Tamatoa guarantees you a draw a card if you quest, and then you get back Popsicle. It's so good. There's so many wombo combos. There's so many wombo combos just with this one item. It's incredible. If you don't have Popsicles, you can pick them up for $0.25. And it's definitely a staple in Sapphire Steel and in red-blue decks because it's just so useful. This is what you call a staple card. It is. It's so good. The Sardine Can. Your exerted characters gain ward. That's pretty good, but they're exerted, so they're going to be challenged, and they're not going to live. Sardine Can, I don't know what its deal is. It is strapped to the back of a bird from the Rescuers. That's the joke here. Flight 3759. Boarding now. Let's go get that lore. Says Oroville, and then in Chapter 3, we got an Oroville card. There's 2 enchantments in Rise of the Floodborns for Sapphire Inc. One is Alice. We talked about her in the start of this video when my hair was longer. And this is Sisu. I offered him $60 and he didn't take it, and now it's $60 again. Thanks for watching. We put out new videos every day. Please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you all tomorrow.